Welcome to this week's video from Delhi Sustainable Farms. This week we are going to show you how to make chicken gnocchi soup using our chicken products. So we are going to use chicken that was once from a whole chicken that we grilled, ate, and then this is what's left over. So we pulled all this chicken off the bone and now we're going to use that tonight in our soup. We also are going to use some homemade chicken broth that we made using bones from our chicken carcass. So we have previously made a video about that, so if you're not sure how to do that, go ahead and look back at our video on how to make chicken broth from chicken bones. For this recipe, we need some vegetables, so celery, an onion, carrots, garlic, and then we need our chicken, spinach, some heavy cream, chicken broth, butter, and gnocchi. So we are going to use cauliflower gnocchi, which is a little bit different than regular gnocchi. But should work just fine in this recipe. The first steps in this recipe is to chop everything up. So I'm going to cut up this onion and celery. I did go ahead and buy matchstick carrots, so they are already cut out for me. Then in the pan on the stove, I'm going to saute these vegetables in some butter and add some flour to make it a little bit thicker after those vegetables are sauteed. Then we'll slowly add our chicken broth in, kind of mixing as we go. And then we will finish by adding in our heavy cream, our gnocchi, our chicken, and our spinach. And then we'll kind of just warm everything up that way. So our chicken is cold because it's been in the fridge, and we'll let our spinach get a little wilty as well. And then we'll have our finished product. So we'll kind of take you along the way as we do each of these steps and show you how to make chicken gnocchi soup. So now we're gonna melt some butter and put in our chopped vegetables along with some garlic and onion. Now that our butter is melted, I'm gonna put in the celery and the onions as well as some garlic, and I'm gonna saute them until they're soft, kind of translucent. I'm gonna wait to put the carrots in. The carrots are matchstick size, so I think they'll cook pretty quick. So I'm going to wait until after I get the onion sauteed a little bit and the celery sauteed a little bit before I add those. Now that the veggies have been sauteed and been simmering here for a couple minutes, you can see that the onion is pretty translucent and so is the celery. So I'm going to go ahead and with the next step, and I'm going to add the flour. So I'm going to add the flour kind of slowly here. Need to kind of stir it in and make sure it doesn't burn. It will combine with some of the liquid that's come out of the veggies as well as the butter, and it will kind of help thicken this mixture, which will thicken our soup as we go on. So now that our broth is boiling, I'm going to go ahead and add the chicken and the gnocchi. So the gnocchi is frozen, so we'll take a few minutes for it to get thoroughly cooked. But I'm going to add the chicken first, so it gets warm all the way through. The gnocchi will only take a few minutes to get cooked all the way through, and then we'll kind of proceed with the rest of the recipe. So now that the chicken's in, I'm going to go ahead and add the gnocchi. So we'll leave these to cook for about 6 minutes or so. We'll bring this back up to a boil, and then we'll know everything is cooked. And then our next step will be to add heavy cream. All right, so now that our chicken and gnocchi have had time to kind of warm up, get cooked all the way through, I'm gonna add some heavy cream. The recipe calls for about 2 cups, so I'm gonna put about half of this container in there. Give it a little stir. Alright, so now that we've stirred in the heavy cream, we don't necessarily want it to boil because we have that heavy cream in there, but we want it to steam, which it's doing. And so now I'm going to go ahead and add spinach I'm gonna add a little at a time so we can wilt it and kind of stir it in. I think if I pour the whole thing in, it will be all over the place. Alright, and now that our spinach is wilted, our soup is ready to eat. The one thing I didn't say is you can season this however you like. The recipe I read recommended thyme, salt, and pepper to taste. When we made our chicken broth, we used salt and pepper and thyme as well as rosemary and bay leaves, and so we just added a little more thyme to this as we were making it, and we'll salt and pepper afterwards. A good garnish for this, once you put it in your bowl, is Parmesan cheese or adding a little more black pepper. So now our spinach is wilted and our soup is ready to serve. So we're gonna serve some up, and we'll add a little Parmesan cheese to that, and we'll have a nice dinner. So thank you for joining us today for our video on how to make chicken gnocchi soup using Delhi Sustainable Farms chicken and chicken broth from chicken carcasses. If you liked today's video or you have any questions, please comment those below. We'd love for you to like and subscribe to our channel so you can stay up to date on all the videos we post about things going on the farm and other recipes we've made using Delhi Sustainable Farms products. We hope to see you again next week, and have a good evening.